Hi, it's Frank from Mann Lake, and I'm here with Wendy today. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to show you some of the tips on finding your queen. We get a lot of people telling us, I've never seen my queen, I can't find my queen. So we're going to try to help you with that a little bit. Now, when it comes to finding your queen, I always tell people, don't just go looking for her, have a reason. If I go into a colony, the colony looks healthy, a lot of brood, I see eggs in there, I don't bother looking for my queen. What do I want to see her for? However, we want to check the status. Well, maybe something's wrong. Let's get a look at her to see if we can find her. That's different. So what Wendy's going to do, on this one, we've got a single deep brood box. We've got one honey super on top, queen excluder between them. So we know our queen, if she's there, she's in this bottom box. So Wendy's going to start by removing the honey super, and she's going to take that queen excluder off. Now, with these bees, we may have to give them just a touch of smoke, just a little bit, but we don't want to smoke them a lot, because when you smoke that hive a lot, you can drive that queen down off the frames and maybe on into the box, and you'll never find her. And so we don't want to smoke them too much, just enough if they're getting a little bit antsy. These seem to be pretty good so far. They're not coming at me, so I think we're good. So what Wendy's going to do, since our queen is generally in the brood nest, which is going to be the center of this hive here, she's going to take one of the outside frames out, look for that queen on that frame, and if you have somebody that helps you in the bee yard, if you're not doing it yourself, if you and another friend or partner are doing it, what I recommend doing is, when she takes this frame out and she looks for that queen and she can't find it, she's going to pass it to me and I'm going to look. Now on this frame, I'm going to look at what's on this frame that she's looking at. If I don't see any eggs on here, any larva of any kind, and all it is honey, very little chance that the queen is over here on this outside frame. Now this one happens to have a little bit of drone brood on it, which we'll scrape that off later. But what's in there, honey? Is that mostly honey?
Yes. Nectar.
Yep, there's open wet nectar in there. They're in the process of making that into honey. So we're going to take a quick look. Did you look for her?
I was looking. I didn't see it.
Yep, I see a couple of drones, but I do not see her. So we're going to take this frame. We're just going to set it aside back here out of the way so we have room to work here. We're going to move every frame over gently so we have room. Don't squish that queen. We're going to find her. I typically, unless that hive is right in the middle of brood rearing, I tend to figure that she's going to be on probably the middle 6 frames normally. The 2 outside on each end of the hive. Generally she won't be out there, but not always. She could be. So we're just going to take a quick look, and Wendy didn't find her, so I'm going to have a quick look on this hive. And I do see eggs in here. Eggs is an extremely good indicator if she's going to be there. Now if we remember, and when the queen lays an egg, it's standing straight up in the air out of that cell. Day 2, it's kind of tipped over like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Day 3, it's laying on its side. So if we see eggs that are standing straight up, we know she's just been here. And these eggs I'm looking at, these are all laying on their side. So she's probably not on this frame. And there's not a lot of bees on this frame here. Usually around wherever the queen is, you'll have the most bees taking care of her. So I don't see any. So we're going to continue to look. So Wendy's going to push this one, put it back in. She's going to put it all the way on this side. That way the queen can't cross over when we're pulling frames. So we're going to look for, we're going to look for a fair amount of bees on the frame because they'll be around her. We're going to look for eggs. We seen any eggs on here? We see cap brood. Check the other side and hand it to me. Any eggs or anything? And I'll give these bees, if they're in a pile like this, I'll give them a little blow and move them apart so I can see better. But I see no eggs there. No. And we can see those bees, so she's not there. I'll take this one. Go ahead, Wendy, can take the next frame out. She won't be alone. She'll have bees around her. Now, a lot of people, especially brand new beekeepers, want their queens marked. We mark queens for different reasons. A lot of times it's because we want to know the age of that queen. So that's an okay thing to do. But as hobby beekeepers, I encourage people to go with no marked queens to start with, so you can get to recognize your queen and find her. And at that point, once you can recognize the queen, then you want to mark them, that's fine. The trouble with marking them is sometimes they will supersede that queen, so your marked queen is gone. You go in the hive and all you're looking for is that mark, and you're missing the queen. You see her on here, Wendy?
John,
Let's see here. Well, I've got a lot of eggs on here, so I'm guessing she's here close because they're standing up. Now these bees are all clustered on the bottom. She's a good hider. Let's make sure she's not in there. Yeah, there's all kinds of eggs. This frame is full of eggs around that caproot. And like I said, it's all looks like it's just been laid. So you keep looking at this one, Wendy. I'll pull another one. But she's either on that one or this one, I'm going to guess.
Bad.
Oh, I've got her right here on this frame. Okay, so we're going to put that frame back. So that one had all the eggs on it. So she was very close, all the fresh eggs. She's right here. We can see her walking right across the frame right here, coming up toward the top. So she's very large. Take that up to the camera. Keep your eye on her. She's going to the bottom.
I like here.
Yep. She's very large. So once you see that queen for the first time, you're always going to recognize your queen after that. Brand new beekeepers, all the time they're pointing at drones saying that is the queen. Once you see her like that, you'll know she's your queen. We brought that frame up so you can see, but generally we recommend don't take those frames away from the hive in case she falls off. We hold them over the colony while we're examining them. So again, you know, we found her pretty quickly. This hive isn't busting with bees, so it's a little bit easier, but just be monotonous about it. Look that frame over once, twice, 3 times. Look both sides. If they're in a cluster, gently blow on them. They'll move apart. Look for fresh eggs, and when you see fresh eggs standing straight up, that's a good indicator that she's there. So Wendy now, she knows what frame that queen is on, so she's gently moving those frames back so we don't roll her, we don't squish her. And this frame we took from the outside, we know there's no queen on there, so Wendy can put that in. And that's another important reason why on your frames, these ears on your frames, they should always be touching. Don't leave any space. Those bees will draw that comb out. Someday you're putting them back like this, you push them back together, that comb, you can squish a queen. As long as those ears are always touching, you can be sure that you won't squish her in there with other wax. So that didn't take us too long. We got lucky, we found her on the 3rd frame. Sometimes you might go from here to here before you find her, but you'll find her. And there have been times the first frame I pulled out, she was right there. Other times I've gone through every frame 3, 4, 5 times until I finally found her. So don't give up. Now you know what she looks like. You generally know where you may or may not find her, what to look for. Go out sometime, look for your queen if you've never seen her. Again, if there's eggs, she's there. Fresh eggs, she's there. And it's not important to find her if you got eggs, but if there's a reason you want to see her, that's how you go about doing it.
Thank you for watching this video. We're pleased to be able to provide you videos from finding your queen to checking for mites. Follow our YouTube channel for new content.